On this week's episode of The Pulse,
get a look into grad life with some international students here at Sacred Heart University.
Find out about a movie theater in Ridgefield that's making a difference.
And get a sneak peek at how a Sacred Heart professor is addressing phone addiction in kids. I'm Isabella Fabo.
And I'm Aaliyah Huntley. These stories and more on Sacred Heart's very own monthly news show.
You're watching The Pulse.
From Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, this is The Pulse.
Many people worry about jobs, but for adults with disabilities, their opportunities are even more limited. I had the chance to visit a place where their employees sparkle on. Situated in the heart of the historical town of Ridgefield is the Prospector Theater. It may seem like any other movie theater, but Prospector's mission is what makes them stand apart. Ren Burkhardt is the director of theater operations.
Yeah. So our founder and visionary, Valerie Jensen, she has a sister named Hope who has Down syndrome. So she grew up recognizing a lot of the challenges within the disability community. Val was a teacher, educator. She ran a local group, Sphere, where she would put on plays and they would create movies with a group of people who have disabilities. And what she found was that all of her friends who would be in these movies and plays were always free. And it was because they didn't have a job. So this building that we're in right now, it was going to be torn down to be turned into a parking lot. And she tells the story of how one night she pulled up on Main Street, she looked at the building and the building looked at her, and she knew exactly what this place needed to be. It needed to be a beacon of hope for the disability community.
The Prospector has helped more than 100 individuals find meaningful work and gain the kind of independence that every adult deserves.
We currently have over 100 prospects. I think we are right now around 117. 75 to 80% of us self-identify with a disability of some kind, which is not the norm for businesses. We are all paid competitively, so everybody makes above minimum wage for their work. People have been able to get out and move out on their own for the first time, get their first apartment, their first car, get married, start their lives with partners, and just really feel what financial independence can do to change your life.
Employees or prospects have the opportunity to work a variety of different jobs within the theater. They can sell tickets at the box office or serve customers at concessions. Prospects can also make the theater's own gourmet popcorn that's sold to all 50 states. They can produce pre-show content and artwork that's displayed in the theater. At the Prospector, everything is a meaningful job. The organization prides themselves on being able to create work that fits the passions of each prospect. Gabe Kavukjian is a prospect who's part of the production team at the theater.
Every you see before the movie starts, you see for pre-show, and I do for stuff in the pre-show, like for gourmet popcorn, any update news on the theater. I did it in high school. My grandparents did it. Like, it's in my blood.
Prospector says nearly 80% of adults with disabilities in the country don't have a job. Once they finish school, many of them are left questioning what comes next with such limited opportunities. Joe Gelati is another prospect who specializes in embroidery and character acting for the theater.
Well, for me, and having grown up with a disability, having autism, I look back and think about just how limited options were. Even when I was going to school, there wasn't very much in the way of accommodations. So it is really reassuring to know that, for the next generation, that there are going to be these accommodations and there are going to be these opportunities.
At the Prospector, the message is clear. The country needs more places like it.
We can work and we want to work. The issue just lies with employers giving that opportunity. And that's, I think, the message we're really trying to send to other employers elsewhere is we're trying to show them the benefit of hiring people with disabilities and giving them jobs with marketable skills rather than just, pushing carts at Stop and Shop. There's so much that we do here that is really just undoing decades worth of damage and prejudice and stigma that people with disabilities have had to put up with. And I'd like to think we've come a very long way, but there is still a lot of work to be done. So we're going to be here for a very long time, I think.
With options extremely limited for adults with disabilities after they age out of school, Prospector Theater has proven itself to be a beacon for them to find meaningful work and sparkle on. For The Pulse, I'm Isabella Fabo, Ridgefield.
Kids are getting hooked on cell phones earlier than ever. A Sacred Heart professor imagines what life would be like for kids without phone addiction. Sarah Anastasi has the story.
Cell phone addiction. It's becoming one of the most pressing issues in today's world, impacting not only adults, but children as well. To address this growing concern, a professor and student from Sacred Heart University teamed up to create a meaningful children's book titled Bored and Loving It. The story follows 3 animal friends who lose their phones and discover the joy of having fun without them. The book's author, professor and lawyer Richard Pate, says the idea was inspired by his own family.
I have 3 nieces and a nephew, and the inspiration was that I read them a story one night. They were all sleeping over, and I made up a story as I went along about a skate sport and everything. So it started there, and then as they grew, I saw that they were on their cell phones. So I incorporated this cell phone thing into the story little by little.
According to a report from the Centers for Disease Control and the National Center for Health Statistics, teenagers who spend 4 or more hours a day in front of screens are more likely to experience mental health challenges like anxiety and depression. Bored and Loving It hopes to combat this by encouraging kids to embrace life beyond their screens, fostering creativity, and promoting freedom of thought. Julia Fernandez, a senior studying art therapy at Sacred Heart, is the illustrator of the book. She emphasizes that one of its core messages is the importance of proper self-care.
Yeah, I think it's super important to take care of yourself. I think that's kind of like a big thing that comes from the message of this. It's like we're telling you, don't be on your phone as much, but that really comes down to how you practice self-care because that affects your day-to-day life. So one of the characters in the book, Band-Aid Bird, she's always on her phone late at night and she can't fly when she wakes up in the morning because she's too tired. And, even though, we're not birds, but it affects us the same way. If we're on our phones super late, we're not taking proper care of ourselves. We're getting easily distracted by everything around us. We're not fully present. We're not really here to experience life and enjoy it to its fullest capacity. So I think just taking that away, we really have to practice that.
Nowadays, it's being addressed even by statutes, laws. There's a lot of laws that a lot of states are enacting regarding the use of phones in schools during school time. That's a new thing.
Bored and Loving It gently reminds us that stepping away from our devices can lead to new adventures, meaningful connections, and a more balanced life. Sometimes it's okay to be bored. That's when the magic happens. The book can be purchased on Amazon and at Barnes & Noble. For The Pulse, Sarah Anastasi, Fairfield.
When we get back, meet some of the students who've come a long way from home.
And we'll find out about an ancient healing practice. We'll be right back.
A flyway is like a superhighway for birds. It's an area where huge numbers of birds move from one place to another in migration.
People often think of migrations with terrestrial animals, but those are much smaller migrations than what birds do. Birds literally move across the whole earth.
They're great indicators of how our environment is doing. I always talk about the canary in the coal mine.
Stopover habitat is disappearing faster and faster. The birds are finding fewer and fewer places that they can stop in, and that's leading to a decrease in the populations of many of these migrant birds.
Apex predators are important in regulating habitats that the birds need both in migration and in breeding.
Even though you might not see wolves out there predating on, say, the snow geese, they're still such an integral part of this entire ecosystem in this landscape. We know this is wild up here.
What started as a film about birds is totally metamorphosized into a project about how birds connect our environments. They truly create the flyway of life.
Moving to a new country for an education can be exciting, but doesn't come without challenges. Cameron Fox has a story of some of our own international students and their struggles.
Thousands of students every year leave their homes and their loved ones far away to chase a dream. The dream of getting an education, of growing, and of building opportunities for themselves.
Well, I'm Yashwant Reddy Chitkala, working as an Associate Director for Graduate International Admissions and also as Enrollment Analyst. So it's been almost 17 months since I've been working with Sacred Heart. And surprisingly, I did my master's in business analytics with Sacred Heart itself. So being myself as an international student, I know the challenges and the problems that come with international students. So most of the time, I always work closely with each and every student, make sure that international students are feeling comfortable with the new place, new challenges, and a lot of other questions. Mostly, it would be like students have a lot of questions about their career opportunities and what exactly they have to do once they arrive, and well orientation programs. All these things we have been planning by Sacred Heart University, which we make students comfortable with a lot of opportunities given for the students. So these are the few things which we do for us from the university.
There are close to 800 international students at Sacred Heart University. Theirs is a tale of perseverance, hope, and the obstacles that shape their course. Here are a few of the students: Beatrice from Italy, Humaira from India, Arturo from Ecuador, and Daniela from Colombia.
I was actually 17, I was in high school, I was an exchange student, and then I came back, then there was the pandemic, COVID, so I couldn't come back. And then the last time I was here was in Maryland working, and it was summer 2023. And then I decided to come back, I knew, I was already familiar with this country, and that's why I actually decided to come study here. That was one of my dreams.
There's the ache of homesickness, a quiet weight that lingers in the background. Holidays pass without family dinners. Birthdays are celebrated with distant voices over poor internet connections. Loneliness can be a constant companion.
As an international student, my first problem when I arrived to America, it was the weather. I mean, I'm from Ecuador, and we are tropical countries. That means we are living in the eternal summer. So when I came here and I felt for the first time the winter, that was a big problem for me. I didn't have any clothes for winter or something. So also the food and everything around me was completely different, and was a kind of difficult for me adapt to all that changes.
Staying up to date in class and having language barriers are a few of the challenges faced by international students.
One of the hardest things, it was the language barrier, because when I came, it was really hard to understand other people and for them to understand me. We'll practice, and with the time, I got better, but it's really nice to have a second language, but it's still a barrier sometimes. Even now in my master, you have to put a little bit of extra effort.
Being an international student isn't just about studying abroad. It's about courage, resilience, and redefining what it means to belong.
My name is Mohammad Umar. I'm an international student. I'm doing my master's in business analytics. I've been to United States in 2023, and I was in California. I did my 2 semesters over there, and then because of some health reasons, I have transferred to Sacred Heart University.
As an international student, I don't have a car. I can't afford a car right now. and like I had to rely on public transportation to go like anywhere. So that's like, I would say that's the main struggle, like not being fully independent in like what I want to do. Like if I have to move somewhere, I always need to have someone helping me. You know, it's even for the stupid things. Like I need to do some grocery shoppings. How can I shop and then bring like all the bags and stuff like on the bus and, you know, go home? And yeah, that's the main thing.
Ready to build a brighter future for themselves and make their contribution to the world.
For the Pulse, Cameron Fox, Fairfield.
It seems like the international students have a lot of stress to deal with.
I know, I'm stressed out all the time and I'm from here. But I think we can all find some relief from our next story.
That's right, Bella. These are stressful times, but did you know you can use sound frequencies to relax? Anthony Ross has the story of sound healing.
My name is Michelle Clifton, and I'm a sound healer. And I came to this place totally by accident. I had studied energy healing since 1987, and one day with a group of healer friends, we would get together once a month to work on each other and to study with each other and do things like that. And one of my friends said, I'm going to study sound healing. Does anyone want to do it with me? And I thought, I have no idea what sound healing is. And I thought, why not? I'll learn something new.
Here, Michelle Clifton blends the power of sound with the serenity of nature, creating a unique healing experience.
My teacher in the beginning said, sound is the best medicine there is. And at the time I thought, there's all kinds of modalities. I've studied Reiki, Jinshin Jitsu, I became a massage therapist, I mean cranial sacral therapy, I know all kinds of techniques.
Michelle is a passionate practitioner of sound healing, guiding individuals toward deep relaxation and inner harmony. Sound healing is a powerful modality that utilizes vibrations to bring our inner systems back into balance. Think of it like a gentle internal massage working on a cellular level. Through the resonant tones of singing bowls, gongs, and other instruments, Michelle creates a sonic landscape that soothes the mind, releases tension, and promotes profound healing. Many experience a deep sense of peace, clarity, and a renewed connection to themselves.
I hope you'll try it. I think they're wonderful, and they're very relaxing, and they are fun and just great to do. So
For the Pulse, Anthony Ross, Garrison, New York.
After the break, find out who has the best meatballs in Fairfield County.
And we'll introduce you to a place where caffeine meets canines.
Bison are an ecosystem engineer. They fundamentally change an ecosystem. They exert this bottom-up influence. They accelerate nutrient cycling, which causes grasses and plants to regrow after being grazed.
What I think's cool about the Greater Yellowstone is that it's like a time machine. We all know this is special, because now it's really rare.
We need to do the best job possible for restoring our national mammal, and that's both reconnecting people and lands with bison. Power in the herd, power in numbers.
Meatball Madness is a contest that combines cooking and competition for all the right reasons. Beatrice Lovato has a story of the local cooks competing for a cause.
After last year's great success, the Meatball Madness contest came back for a second edition to achieve even greater success. We are talking about a sizzling competition where the best meatball makers in Stratford went head-to-head to claim the title of Meatball Master, all the while supporting a great cause. Hosted at Bazzano's Four Seasons, The Meatball Madness contest brought together 12 contestants among local restaurants, clubs, teams, and even individuals, all competing for the same title. Who makes the best meatballs in town? Fred Garrity Jr., who created and presented the event, was one of them.
Some people have their recipe, some have their mother's recipe, their grandmother's recipe, their aunt's recipe. Everybody thinks theirs the best.
Number 12, Bozzies. Best
Love it.
meatballs. Best meatballs in town. Number 8, we're great. Number 8, we're great. Number 7, vote for us.
All attendees were invited to take part in a delicious challenge. Taste every meatball and vote for the one that made their taste buds sing.
Who do you think you're going to vote for?
Probably number 7.
Okay. What is about number 7?
I just like the taste. It was very, very good. The sauce was very good.
At the end of the night, there were 2 winners, a People's Choice winner elected by the guests, and an overall winner nominated by a panel of celebrity judges. But it wasn't just about bragging rights. Every ticket sold supported Homes for the Brave, an organization dedicated to providing housing, support, and resources to veterans who are transitioning back into civilian life.
One of the things this event does is 2 things. It brings people together for a good cause because we're having a good time. You can have a good time for a good cause.
John Bazzano, who hosted the event, is also the board's chairman for Homes for the Brave.
We're always short. We're funded by the state and the federal government, and we never have enough money to, make sure they're comfortable. And for what they're heroes, what they did for our country, and it's unfortunate we have tough times like that. So you pick up the pieces and try to make it, a pleasant experience for them there.
Supporting the veterans is the shared mission that brought the community together. The event enticed the many sponsors who made it possible as a way to give back to those who have given so much to the country.
We raise a lot of money because the community and the people in the Fairfield County and state of Connecticut appreciate our event. You know what I'm saying? I think we all appreciate our event.
The first edition of the Meatball Madness contest sold 300 tickets, raising $10,000. This year, with 400 people attending the event, the expectations are even higher.
Everybody sponsors it. All local people sponsor it, and it's just a great event. So this year we're gonna break what we did last year, money-wise. So it should be good. We don't have the numbers yet, but everyone's very generous, and it's a fun night.
In the 2 years that it has existed, the event has been a sellout. The community is more and more responsive to it, all conditions for a promising future.
One of the things we do when we run events, we like to say the magic number's 3, right? So we had a successful one. This one's going to be as successful, if not more. And we're pretty sure the 3rd one will. Once you do 3, it kind of takes a life of its own. All you have to do is continue to make sure you do it the right way.
The Meatball Madness contest is the proof that when you mix food, fun, and philanthropy, everybody wins. For the polls, Beatrice Lovato, Stratford, Connecticut.
I could sure use a meatball right about now.
I was thinking more of an espresso.
I know just the place. They serve their coffee with a little twist. You might wonder what a French bulldog and a cup of coffee have in common. But if you like your latte with a shot of puppy love, check out Frenchie's Coffee Bar.
Have you ever wanted to grab a latte and hang out with some of the friendliest fur babies?
Yes. Down. What? You get what?
If so, you should stop by Frenchie's Coffee Bar in Stratford. This cafe not only has some of the tastiest drinks and desserts in town, they are also dog friendly. I met with one of the co-owners of Frenchie's Coffee Bar, Kevin Neal, who shared some details about the coffee shop and what inspired the creation of it.
The concept was created when my wife and I moved into Stratford many years ago, and we realized we had to travel for some good coffee. About 7 years ago, we bought our daughter a French Bulldog. There was certain energy around the French Bulldog. Everywhere we went, people were just excited. They wanted to pet the dog. They wanted to see the dog. So we kind of just married the two together.
Being that a dog-friendly cafe is not a norm, does Kevin ever receive any complaints from customers unaware that his coffee shop is pet-friendly?
Recently, we've had one lady who was completely afraid of dogs. She came in on a day when we were doing a Frenchie meetup. So there were about 50 dogs in here, and she was freaking out.
To be successful, a coffee shop needs consistent customers.
Every day, we get a good amount of people, a lot of regulars. For the community, they took to it well. We get a lot of people that search for us while they're in their daily commutes.
I was fortunate enough to meet one of his loyal customers, Ziva.
So this is Ziva, and we drove about an hour and a half with our two friends to come to Frenchie's. We're so excited to be here. There's not a lot of dog places that you could take your dogs, and we came here, and we're definitely coming back. Ziva has had to be that time, meeting all the other dogs, and licking the crumbs off the plate, off the floor, and everything like that.
With 2 locations open and a new location on the way this year, Kevin is a man with a mission.
The idea for our coffee shop is to have people come together with their backs. And also, the biggest thing for us is we want people to kind of leave the coffee shop uplifting around there. Because there's something about having dogs around that just lifts your spirit. You're instantly happy when you get a dog that comes in. And we just want everybody to just be happy.
If you want a place that offers tasty drinks, delicious desserts, quality time with some of your favorite pups, not to mention amazing art including a French bulldog made from coffee beans, then it is safe to say Frenchie's Coffee Bar is the place for you. For The Pulse, Aaliyah Huntley, Stratford.
Making me wish that I had a dog to bring to this cafe.
I bring my dog all the time. It's definitely nice to have pet-friendly options nearby.
I bet. Well, that's all we have for you today.
Thanks for watching, and make sure to tune into our next episode of The Pulse. I'm Aaliyah Huntley.
And I'm Isabella Favo. We'll see you next time.